안녕. Whoop. Oh, it's bright. Oh, let me try again. 안녕. The first thing you probably noticed is that this video looks a little bit different than the other videos in this series. And today I actually want to talk with you about pronunciation. So imagine this situation. You're talking with a Korean and they don't quite understand what you're saying, but not because of your grammar or your vocabulary, but because of your pronunciation. And this kind of situation happens. It happened to me a lot when I was learning Korean. Now, maybe you're practicing Korean every day, but you still don't feel that your pronunciation is getting much better. So this video is for you, and I'm going to be giving you some tips that I have for improving your Korean pronunciation. 그럼 시작할까요? Now, everyone has to improve their pronunciation at some point. Old habits die hard, they say, and of course it's easier to learn in the beginning than it is to fix them later. But not everyone can do that. Everyone learns Korean a bit differently. So here are some tips for you to improve your Korean pronunciation. And the first tip is, so increase your exposure to Korean. Now, I'm not saying you need to travel and live in Korea. If you can, that's great. No, you can do this no matter where you are. You can watch more Korean TV, listen to more Korean music, listen to podcasts, and if you're feeling really adventurous, the Korean news even. Now, these things won't necessarily improve your grammar and vocabulary very much, but they do help your ear to get adjusted to the sounds of Korean. And before you can even pronounce the sounds in Korean correctly, you have to know them very well yourself, and you have to get used to hearing them a lot. But this tip alone, of course, won't make your pronunciation perfect, so here's my next tip. Record yourself speaking in Korean and play it back. Now, this can be kind of embarrassing. When I was studying Japanese a long time ago, I used to think my Japanese pronunciation was great until I listened to myself speaking it, and I can pretty easily hear which sounds I was saying incorrectly. So it's hurtful to your pride, but it's beneficial to your pronunciation. Now, I'm also going to do something a little bit special for this video for you who've been watching up to this far. This is my email address, and if you email me a clip of your voice speaking in Korean, I will critique it for you. I'll critique your pronunciation and your intonation completely for free, and I'll keep it just between us. I won't send it to anyone else. But wait, I have some more tips for you still. But maybe just increasing your exposure and recording your voice isn't enough for you. Then you can also try to imitate native Koreans. This is something that I would do. You take a clip of a Korean saying something. It can be from a TV show or a movie or a song or anything. And you try to copy it exactly as close as you can, the pronunciation and intonation and tone and everything. And then you play it back and try to do that a few times until you can notice your pronunciation matching that. I used to do this when I was studying Japanese for songs. I would memorize songs and then practice them a bunch for days and days, and then by the time I could sing them correctly, my pronunciation had also naturally improved just by doing that. So you can do it with Korean songs as well if you want. Just be careful that if you're doing it with voice clips, and if you're a guy, don't copy voice clips of girls or vice versa. I had a friend who he hung out with a lot of girls in Korea, and he ended up speaking Korean, sounded kind of like a girl, but he also had a lot of Korean girlfriends, so I guess it worked out for me either way. So it's up to you, your preference. Nobody speaks English like this. And the same goes for Korean. Try to relax your mouth when you're speaking, and you'll sound a lot more natural. This also has the added benefit of making your Korean sound more chill. So instead of saying 잘 지냈어요, just say 잘 지냈어요. Same pronunciation, but you'll sound a lot more natural. Try to fix your pronunciation now instead of later. It's always easier to iron in a wrinkle than it is to iron one out. There's a Korean word, hyogwa, which most Koreans mispronounce as hyogwa, myself included. But when I learned that it's supposed to be hyogwa a few years ago, I spent months trying to get it back to become hyogwa, because every time I think about the word, my brain would tell me hyogwa first. So, it takes time to get over those types of things. In English as well, I would always say milk when everyone else says milk. So milk's obviously wrong, but it took me months before I could correct my brain to think milk instead of milk, because I had been so used to saying it that way. So try to fix things early on, as soon as you can, and not waiting until later. So these were my personal tips for improving your Korean pronunciation. For a quick recap, they were increasing your exposure to Korean, recording yourself speaking it, trying to imitate native speakers, relaxing your mouth when you speak, and starting to improve it now instead of later. So I hope that these tips could be helpful to some of you. And remember that I upload new videos to this channel every week, so click subscribe if you haven't already and follow along. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. I think a mosquito went in my throat.